My name is Steve Chau. My game handle is Chauster. I play support on Team Counter Logic Gaming. The thing that I like about League of Legends is that there's a counter to everything. It's just that people aren't bright enough to see it. They always tunnel and they're like, okay, this one thing will beat them. And like, there's always these flavors of the month that come and go, and people will forget the old champions. And that's why I love it. When time and time comes again, they stray away from these champions, and these champions don't see play for months. And one person will bring it back, and everyone will just like bandwagon it, even though that champion was viable at all points of at all times. I always have this mentality where I think every single champion is viable in League of Legends, and I think there's a place for basically everyone. And I've always had that mentality because I know, like, I can picture what you can do with these champions, but everyone else is, I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant, but everyone else is very close-minded, and they always just like discount it simply because they don't see it, and they just use it based on like confirmation bias, like, you know, we're not seeing this because they just make all these shit excuses to say this champion's not bad, like not as good or can't be used because they don't see it. But the thing is, like, what made people stray away from those champions are such minor changes. They never should have changed in the first place. That's why like the game keeps changing, but at the end of the day, those champions still accomplish the same things. The meta game has actually been really stagnant, I feel. It's been the same since DreamHack, which is June, and before that, which is AD carry support bottom lane, which I find really funny because all along the entire time, dual bruisers will counter that lane. At any time, you take two bruisers bottom lane, they can't live. There's nothing they can do. If you have the right team comp, the right bottom lane combo against the right bottom carry, like enemy has another AD support combo, they can't live. They can't even farm. And I've wondered why people haven't taken advantage of that. It's just because they're so caught up in the meta game, they can't think outside the box. So I feel that maybe one day support will change because they'll find out that the support utility isn't as good as it's made out to be. It's not the end all. It's not something that must be in the game. But from what I've seen, I don't think anyone's going astray from that because they'll make up a lot of excuses. They'll maybe test it out one game, obviously not knowing how to play the matchup, fail, and just use confirmation bias to like explain like it's not good. Like this is the way like the meta game, people always find some way to justify it. But I just don't see how that's the case. Like fundamentally at the base level, there's nothing you can do. Like there's counter to everything.